Okay, today our lesson will be about constructing expression. Now, we have one objective. You're going to be able to construct expression. The figure that you see it behind represent numbers, operations, and even we're going to have letters with us. So, if I want to construct an expression, I will need these three tools with me: numbers, operation, and letters. Now, this is our objective. How we're going to talk about this lesson, I'm going to split it into two parts. The first one will be dealing with the definitions that I need them to be able to understand what an algebraic expression is. Then some of the keywords, but the order of operation, I will leave it to the next lesson. If I have these three combinations with me, I will be able to form an algebraic expression. Now, any algebraic expression could be with one operation only, and this is what we're going to talk about in this lesson, or with more than one operation, and we're going to leave this part till the next lesson. So one more time, what will I be talking about it today? I will give you the required definitions, the required keywords or the most common one, and how can I construct an algebraic expression with only one operation. So let's start with the first part, which is the definitions. The first definition that I'm going to give it to you is, what do I mean by a variable? A variable is a letter or a symbol that represents a number, unknown quantity. For example, you can use the letter X or Y or Z or W or any alphabetical number. Or you can use the Greek letters, alpha, beta, the ones that I'm just reading them. I just want to label them for you. These, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, theta, lambda. These are some special symbols for natural number, real number. You're not going to use them all. It's totally up to you. For right now, we're going to go a higher level. We're not going to say, if I'm asking you this question, 5 plus a number equals 8. This way of writing it used to be the way for a grade 1 till what? Till a grade 5 or 6. But right now, instead of putting a box, I'm going to change this and write instead of the box what? One of these letters. So I will say 5 plus x equals 8. What's the value of x? This is one of the way. Or I would just say 5 plus x, or 5 plus w, or 5 plus q. So a variable is a letter that you're going to use it to represent a certain quantity, but you still don't know what's the value of it. Okay? For now, this is what do I mean by a variable. Let's move to the next one, the next definition. The next definition is, what do I actually mean by an algebraic expression? As I mentioned, an algebraic expression is an expression that contains variable. By variable, I mean letter, okay? For this one, variables, or operations. Operation, what do I mean by operation? Plus, minus, multiply, divide, exponent or powers, okay? A number, numbers that you know them, that you're familiar with them, positive numbers, negative numbers, fraction, decimal, percentage, all of these are numbers, so you can use all of them, okay? Now, for example, I can say 2x is an expression. Why? It have a number and a variable, a letter. Y plus 3 is also an expression. Why is it expression? A variable, a letter, an operation, a plus, and the number 3. You can look here, 3z minus 8. Also an expression. I have two numbers, a letter, which is a variable, and operation. I can say w plus q minus 5. Variables, which are letters, operation, and a number. I can say d over m plus 3m plus 5. All of these are algebraic expression. Now, what's our mission? What we're going to do right now is we're actually going to write these. We're going to construct them. So we're going to do this. They're not going to give it to us like this. We're supposed to write them like this. Now, how do we write them? We're going to make some mathematical translation. We used to do that previously, but we didn't use letter, if you remember. When I have something unknown, we used to put a box or a circle or a triangle, and I kept asking you, what's inside this square or what's inside this box, okay? But right now, we're going to replace the box with what? With a letter. This is how we're going to construct expression. Now, before I start with the examples, if you have a question, Nan, what's your question?
Teacher, do
Yes.
the letters actually mean something when we're writing?
Do they mean something? Yes.
Yeah.
Later on, you're going to know. Yani, for example, if I'm talking about the time, the best letter to represent time is T. Now, it's totally up to you if you don't want to use the letter T. But what's the best letter? It's T.
Like, for example, they write like A for even number, for example, and then you have to write something.
Yes, it depends. Sometimes if it's age, you can use the letter A. Now, I'm not saying it's a must, but it's the best. Okay? In order to be able to write any expression, I need to know some keywords. So what are the keywords that we're going to talk about? The first keywords are the keywords that represent the addition. So here are the most common one, the ones that we use them most of the time. Some of them you're familiar from them from grade 4 and even 3. For example, add, plus, the word sum, more than, increased, plus I repeated it one more time, total, altogether, join, if I'm saying I'm joining two lines, what's the sum of their length, combined or combining, both, grow if it means it's going up, higher if the temperature is going higher, additional if I have another information for another number, in all, extra number, or extra student attends. All of these are some of the keywords, the most common keywords that we use them for addition. Okay? Now, I need a scrap paper to be in front of you. And I will be doing only the first one. You're going to do the rest. If I'm asking you add a number and 13, either you're going like grade 4 and 5 to say the number is actually what? A box. This is what we used to do. Then I will write plus, because add, it means add, plus 13. That's it. I don't want the final answer, by the way, guys. I just want you to write the translation. That's it. But right now, because we're in grade 6, we're not going to write the box. We're going to represent it using a letter. So I'm going to replace the box by doing what? By putting instead of a number N or X or W or whatever you want. So I'm going to put the letter N. So instead of the box, I will write N plus 13. Now, I want you to try to do the rest of them. I'm not saying that they should be correct. Just try to translate right now by yourself. I'm giving you 1 minute Okay, to make things easier, I don't want you to open your cam. Some of you, they are not opening their cam. I will open the chat. Write the answer for the first one in the chat section. All of you, write your answers in the chat section. I did open it for you. You can start writing. The ones that their cam is not working, write it correctly. Not the first one that I wrote it. Good? Do not write your name, Zaid, right now. Just give me the answer. Excellent. Most of you are getting it correct. So the first one I'm going to pick right now, Ma'ruf. The first one, what should it be, ya Ma'ruf?
It should be x plus 7.
X plus 7. Now, you're not allowed to use a letter that is not written. If it's not, if I already wrote it for you, you're not supposed to change it. But if I didn't, like the first example, it's totally up to you which letter you want to use. So as Ma'ruf mentioned, this one will be x plus 7. Now, let's hear the rest. Thank you, ya Ma'ruf. Malak, what do you think the next one should be?
Yes, teacher.
It should be
y plus 12.
Excellent job. So this one should be y plus 12. The next one. Thank you, ya Malak. Now, Julie. What's the next one, ya Julie? It should be what? Julie, we're waiting for you.
Yes, I said
Yalla, what's the answer? What should it be, Julie?
8 plus w.
8 plus w. Excellent job. Now, next one. Let's hear Omar. Omar Matoug, what's the answer?
35 plus x.
35 plus x. You can say 35 plus b. 35 plus any letter. Why? Is it a must to be x? Omar?
No.
Did
No.
they mention which letter we should use?
No.
So it's totally up to me which letter to use. Now, let's move to the next one. So, till now, there is no problem doing them. Let's move to the next slide. In the next slide, I'm going to give you 1 minute to write your answers. Here are the questions. Let me see your answers right now. I'm going to open the chat. Now start with the next one. Matthew is X years old, David is 4 years older. Okay, Nuruddin, he's saying, I don't understand. Noor, raise your hand. Which one? The previous examples? The last one? Ian?
Yes.
Okay. Which one of them you didn't understand?
All
of them? Okay. When I say add, what kind of operation you're going to have?
plus.
Plus. So when I say add a number and 13, you just need to tell me number plus 13. To write the operation is addition, the letter is n, and the other number is 13. Now I don't want you to get the answer, Noor. That's it. This is your answer. You're only translating right now. Okay? When I say the word sum also another key word for which operation? Addition. So the same thing. The letter is x because I mentioned it to be x. And instead of the word sum, I will write plus. And I'm going to write the second number. Here, just to translate directly. You don't need to find the final answer. You don't know what's x, and it's not required from you to know it. Now the last one,
Okay.
8 more than also indicate plus. The plumber added an extra. Added and extra, it also means what? Plus. Is it clear now?
Yes.
So you just need to translate. You don't need to get the final answer. This is our job for today.
Okay.
Okay? Now, Okay, let's hear Maruf at the beginning. Which part you don't understand it, ya Maruf?
Because I don't understand like how we put it in a sentence. Like
What?
how we I don't understand how we put the numbers into an expression.
It's the numbers that are written in the expression itself, in the word itself. The statement says that I have the plumber added an extra 35, so the number is 35. Added is plus. To her bill, the bill is the missing number. Do you have the bill? Do you know what's the bill? How much is it?
No.
So you're going to represent it with a letter. Added, you're going to write instead of it plus. 35, it's written, you know it. I'm getting the numbers from the statement that are written in front of me. Let's look at the next slide. This one. Matthew is X years old. Do you know how old is Matthew? Aya Maruf?
No.
Okay, so you're going to write X. David is 4 years older. When I say older, will you add to Matthew's age? Or will you subtract? Or will you divide?
Add.
How much you're going to add, Ya Maruf?
4.
And from where did you get the 4?
From David's age.
From the statement. So the numbers, I get them from the statement that is written in front of me. I don't get them randomly. Okay? Is it clear now, Ya Maruf?
Yes.
Okay. Hashim, what's your question?
Teacher,
I
I
didn't.
didn't understand the second one.
The second one? Okay.
Yes.
The temperature now is 6 degrees higher. The word higher indicates what?
Addition.
Thank you. And higher than what? It was on Saturday. Do you know what's the temperature on Saturday?
No.
So can you put a letter for it?
No.
Why not? You don't know what's the value of it. If there is something you don't know what's the value,
Yes, you can.
you're going to put instead of it letter. If you do know the value, you're going to put the value. So which letter do you want to use?
Y.
Okay, Y. Y plus or minus or times or divide. What will you do with the Y? He said it's 6 degrees higher than it was Saturday.
Plus.
Plus how much?
6.
6, thank you. That's it. Is it clear now? Now, Rayan, what's your question?
Teacher,
Rayan, what's your question?
teacher, when they only say that he is X years old or has Y marbles, can we find out
Good
what do they
question.
mean?
You're going to put both of them missing. Yani right now he's saying, Rayan is saying, what if they didn't say that David is 4 years old? What if I cross this out and I said David is Y years older than Matthew? What's the expression going to be? X plus Y, because I have no idea about both of them. Do you?
No.
So that's how do we write it. Jad, what's your question? Please mute yourself once you're done talking. If I didn't mute you. What's your question?
Here in the second one, we can put any letter, صح?
Yes, but I prefer to write T.
Okay.
Because it's temperature. Okay? Now, Jude, what's your question?
Teacher, in the last one, Nicola has Y marbles. We write Y plus 10.
Yeah, because he wants the total. Excellent job. But you shouldn't answer. You should ask me a question.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Sama, what's your question? Sama.
Yes, teacher.
What's your question?
Is it okay if we like add something other than the numbers and the like alphabet, or
What do you mean by adding another?
like names or something?
No, you cannot. You need to use letters, and the numbers, you can't change them. If I wrote a certain number, you should use the same number. If you change it, it will be totally wrong. The letter,
Okay.
if I gave you the letter, you should use the letter that I give it to you. If I didn't, then you can choose any letter you want. And by the way, the capital letter is different than the small letter. They are different variables, different numbers. Okay, Mu'taz, what's your question?
Is it okay if we write the sum of the value, like of the expression?
How you're going to write it? Did I give you extra information?
No,
So how are you going to write it?
I can't.
So that's it. Yes, Yamasa, what's your question?
Are there keywords
I
for
can't.
the subtraction and multiplication and division?
Of course there
Are
are,
there?
but you're not giving me the time to move to the next slide. You keep asking about the addition, so that's why I didn't move yet.
Okay.
Yes, Ya Mansour, what's your question?
Teacher, can we have decimals and then expressions?
What did you hear me at the beginning saying, Ya Muhammad? What did I say about the numbers? Did I say they are only whole numbers? What did I say? Can you repeat?
You said they don't have to be whole number.
What did I say then? They could be what?
Decimal.
And what?
And whole number.
And what also? I didn't only say this. But did I say more?
No.
I said they could be fraction, Ya Mansour. I said they could be percentages, Ya Mansour. I said they could be negative number. Now let's move to the next slide. Now what are the last one? As Jude answered, Nicole has Y marbles, Vicky has 10. It totals means plus, so I'm going to add them. Now what are the most common keywords for the operation subtraction? And I need your full attention. Please lower your hands. The most common words are subtract, subtract from, less, less than, fewer, difference, how many more, remain, minus, take away, left, decrease, reduce, and etc. But why did I write subtract and then I wrote under it subtract from? I wrote less, then under it less than. There's a difference between subtract and subtracted from. The difference lies on the order. So if I say 4 subtract 6, you're going to say this is 4 minus 6. And the answer is negative 2. Okay? But if I say 4 subtract from 6, this actually means 6 minus 4. The word from changed the order. You're going to start from the last number, then you're going to write the first number. So this will be 6 minus 4. The same goes with the word than. It changed the order. Okay? So let's have another examples. Let's look here. If I have 9 subtract x and I have 9 subtract from x, if I'm writing 9 subtract x, you're just going to write the following. You're going to write 9, the same order, minus x. But if I wrote 9 subtract from x, you're going to start from x minus 9. Did you see the difference between them? The word from changed the order. The word than changed the order. Before I move, raise your hand if you have questions. Raise your hand if you have a question. Yes, yeah, Amir, what's your question?
Yes, teacher.
What's
Teacher,
your
I
question?
don't understand the difference between subtract and subtract from.
You're changing the order. In the word subtract, you use the number the way they're written. I wrote 9 subtract x. So you translate the same or in the same order. 9 subtract mean minus, or x you write x. Okay? But if you saw that you have the word from, you switch. You start from x, from here, then you write subtract as a minus, then you write 9. Okay? This is the difference between them. Whenever you see the word subtract, it means, sorry, the word from, it means you're going to switch the order, starting from the last minus the first. Okay? The same goes with the word than. If you saw from or than, you do the same. The last number minus the first number. Is it clear now?
Yes, thank you.
If you have the same question, Jad and Masa, lower your hand. Yes, yeah, Jad, what's your question?
Miss هلا I didn't understand the difference between less and less than.
The same as subtract and subtract from.
Okay,
Yes, you just subtract. Subtract less than, you switch the order.
Okay.
Mute yourself, please, yeah, Jad. Yes, yeah, Masa. And do not ask me to repeat. I'm not going to repeat. What's your question?
طب إيش الفرق بين يعني what is the difference between like when we switch the place of the x we put it 9?
What's the difference? With the
Yes.
sign, yeah, Masa. Didn't I just do it with numbers? If I say 4 subtract 6, it will give you -2. But if I say 6 minus 4, it will give me 2. Are they the same number, -2 and 2?
No.
So that's the difference. The sign will be different. Zaid, what's your question?
Teacher, I don't the question, the difference between
I don't even
X and
understand
7.
your question. What?
I didn't know how to solve number 2.
We didn't start with number 2 yet. I'm just focusing on the word from and than. Did you get it?
Yes.
Okay. Now we're going to start with the first one. Now the first one, you're just going to translate normally with the same order. There's nothing different within this one. I will close the chat right now. Okay. And so in the first one, and I will clear all the drawing, 5 take away x, 5, and take away, it means minus, and then you're going to write x. If you remember from the beginning of the year till we have the vacation, this long vacation, I kept saying the word difference means the bigger number minus the smaller number. If you do remember this, okay? I kept saying that the word difference means the big minus the small. But in front of you right now, you don't know what's the value of x. So you cannot tell whether x is bigger or x is smaller. And as I mentioned, there's a difference between them. If it's x minus 7, it's not the same as x as 7 minus x. And if I wrote them here both, x minus 7 is not the same as 7 minus x. Because they are not the same, we're going to use another symbol, which is not required from you. I just mentioned it because I know that some of you will say, what if we have the word difference? Okay? You're going to use a symbol that represents something called absolute value. The symbol looks like this. I'm going to put it in front of you. Do you see these two lines? This one and this one. They represent something called the absolute value. What does it mean, absolute value? You don't need to understand it, by the way, so do not ask me a question regarding the absolute value. It just tells you that whatever the answer is here, it will come out of these two lines with a positive sign. Because I kept saying that the word difference should always be positive. Do you remember that? Okay, so if I want the answer to be positive, I will put this sign. If I put this sign, the answer will go out with a positive sign. This is the only thing that you should know it. For me, I'm not going to ask you to figure out the difference between or to translate using the word difference. Okay? The word difference, I'm not going to use it right now in your level. So now let me hear your question. If you have a question regarding the absolute value, I'm not going to answer it. Any question? Okay, let's move to the next one. Yes, يا عمر. What's your question? فيش حدا رافع ايده. طب. Now the next one. In the next one, 9 subtract x, it will be 9 minus x. 9 subtract from, as I mentioned, you switch the order. Now reduce her bell, that means subtraction. So البell minus 35. Before I move to the next slide, do you have any question? Raise your hands. Yes, ya Hassan, what's your question?
Teacher, do we have to write the letter as the same word? يعني if the word was cat, we have to.
Did you hear me out when I say, and they already asked about that, and Adnan was the first one to ask this question. Is it a must to use a certain letter? I said it will be the best, but it's not a must. It's totally up to you. But if I mention the letter, no, you should use the letter that I mention it. And do not ask this question again.
Oh.
Now let's move to the next slide. In the next slide, I'm going to erase what has been already drawn. He's telling you that Matthew is X years old. Now look at the order. So the first information, Matthew is X years old. The second information, Adam is 10 years younger than. Younger means subtract. Than means switch the order. So who can tell me what's the answer going to be? What should I write? What should I write? Yes, ya Abdulrahman. What should I write, ya Abdulrahman?
X minus 10.
Excellent job. So you should write x minus 10, Matthew minus Adam. So the answer will be, Abdulrahman, mute yourself, please. X minus 10.
Okay.
Now the next one. Let's hear Zaid. What's the answer?
X minus 6.
Excellent job, x minus 6. For me, I wrote T, but it's totally up to you here. Now, the next one. وصفة. Yes, yeah, وصفة. The next one.
35 minus x.
35 minus x. Minus x, is it? I have the word than.
X minus 35.
X minus 35. Excellent. Or n. For me, I choose the letter n. Now, next one. Mira. The last one.
15 less than a number.
It will be what?
X minus 15.
Excellent job. X minus 15. So we're done with the subtraction. Now, please all of you lower your hands. Let's move to the next part, which is the multiplication. I'm going to clear all the drawing and let's start here. The word multiplication is the same as the addition. You do not care about the order. You just translate the way it's written. For now, the key words are multiply, times, product. Most of the students today don't know the word product of as much as. Now you need to be careful about these words that I wrote them here. When I say twice, it means double. You mean to multiply by 2. The same goes for the word double. The word triple means multiply by 3. The rest means multiplying. So let's have some examples. And I just want to make them faster because we have 8 minutes left. Matthew is X years old. Catherine is 3 times older than Matthew. So what will I write? Times older, I'm going to multiply. But here I want you to look how did I wrote it. I wrote at the beginning 3 times X. But if you notice, I said it's equal to 3x. In math, okay, whenever we have an expression, the only operation that you do not write it, if, and listen carefully, only if you have a number and a letter is the multiplication. The rest of them you should write the operation. But if it's multiplication and you have a number and a letter, you should write it like this, 3x. Why? Because this is the most common way and I'm going to start writing it in this way. So you need to understand when I write it like this, the operation is multiplication. There's a hidden multiplication sign, okay? Let's look at another example, this one. Bob runs 7 times a week for a number of weeks. So 7 times the number of weeks. But I'm not going to write 7 times, I'm going to write 7W. What does it mean 7W? It means 7 times W. When I say the product means times, but I'm not going to write it 12 times C, I will write it 12C. Again, what does it mean? Multiply. 6 times a number. I'm not going to write 6 times a number as an operation. I will write 6N. But I do not do this if they are numbers, by the way. Only if it's a number and a letter. Let's hear your question. I don't think there are questions here, but let me hear. What do you have in your mind? Yes, ya Wasfa, what's your question?
I don't have a question. I forgot to lower my hand.
Okay, before I start asking you what's your question, I will lower all of your hands. Lower your hands, please. Even if you have a question, lower your hand right now. Now raise your hand if you have a question. Yes, ya Hassan, what's your question?
Miss, I didn't understand Bob ran 7 times a week for a number of weeks.
When I'm telling you, each week you're going to run 7 times. Okay?
Okay.
And you kept doing that for 3 weeks. How many days did you run?
7 times 3, 21.
So, a number of weeks is N. And instead of 3, I replace it with N, or with W, or with X. So I say
okay.
7 times X. Yes, Sama, what's your question?
Teacher, my question is about then. You said that when we have then, we should switch places, right?
Yes.
But you're not switching places. Is still like 3 and then the number.
But if you hear me out at the beginning, ya Sama, I mentioned that in the multiplication, we don't actually care about the order. Because whether you said 2 times 3 or you said 3 times 2, you're going to get the same answer at the end, which is 6. Will you get a different answer, ya Sama? Answer me. I'm waiting.
But teacher, it's only on the multiplication, right?
Sama, I didn't only mention that. I said in the multiplication and in the addition, we don't care about the order. This is a common knowledge. But we do care about the order when we're subtracting and when we're dividing. So the word than is very important when the operation is minus or when it's division. But if it's multiplication and addition, I don't care. Is it clear now, Yasama?
Yes.
Kareem, what's your question?
Miss, at the second one, if we wrote Bob ran W times a week for a number, it will give us the same answer or no?
You always start writing the number. If you're using the second way. If you're using the first way, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But if I'm using the second way, it's a must to write the number first.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Good question, by the way, Kareem. Sundus, what's your question?
Teacher, if at the start of the class, you asked us to answer questions. For example, x plus 7. Is there an answer for this question or no?
No, there is no answer for it. I'm not asking you to figure out the answer right now. I'm just asking you to translate.
Okay.
Can you please make your question specific about the lesson? Yes, Yarayan, what's your question? Okay. Mute yourself then. What's your question, ya Mu'taz?
I don't understand. When do we write 3 times a variable?
When it's multiplication, ya Mu'taz. When did I mention that?
قصدي في كيس إنه ما نستعمل 3 x أو هيك 3 times x ما
بتكون في another case يا معتز. بيكون عندي more than one operation, but I said I'm not going to mention it today. Okay? Yes, we're going to stop our lesson right here.